Good win for Ohio State. Guys played really hard. This was a very, very physical game on both ends of the floor, and they were able to pull it out there in the last 2 minutes with some really big plays. We didn't obviously finish the last 90 seconds well enough in the game to be able to hang in there and either get it to OT or win it in regulation. But we fought hard. Kids played hard in a very physical game, and we were right there. Just came up a little bit short.
First question.
Coming out of those 2 timeouts, the look to Romeo, what were you trying to get out of there? What was the thought process?
7 seconds on the clock underneath out of bounds. We drew up a play that honestly put you on and Romeo in a position to try and either drive it from the top or get a post up, and wasn't sure if he was open or not. I know this obviously was a deflected pass. It was a big turnover, but he put that on me. We tried to get the ball right at the basket with Romeo, maybe get fouled, maybe get a quick bucket, but it was a big turnover.
Coach, what did you see with those 2 last baskets? You had Jackson get open on the 3, but especially
the 3,
yeah,
the one on the clock.
Yeah, and the one.
You talking about the 3-point shot with 1 second on the clock?
Yeah, I'm talking.
He made a heck of a shot on that one. It was from about 25. Devontae made one right before him. Maybe we get a little lucky one of these times when one of those 1 second bombs doesn't go in on him. But give him credit on that one. The other bucket, I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
The Wesson.
The tip in.
Yeah, the last field goal.
Oh, the last field goal was a slip play for those guys. They slid him out, and obviously, our help side defense needed to be over a little earlier to make either a harder play on the ball, foul him, or block the shot, and he made a good play. They slipped him out. Our rotation was there. I thought Romeo had a chance to make maybe a block shot, but he got it off the glass quickly. It was a really obviously we've been dealing with it all game long. It's good action by them. Our help obviously didn't get there in time, but that was a good basket.
Archie, I think it was the first 5 minutes of the first half, first 2 of the second half was like 18-4 in their favor. What did you feel the issue was to start the game and the start of the second half?
To start the game, our offense was a problem. Just in terms of the way they decided to guard. The way they decided to guard was obviously put the big fella in the middle of the paint and clog it up as much as he could. They went under a ton of ball screens, and we couldn't really get any rotation, get over the top. And our offense hurt us at that point in time. You're not going to be able to just hold those guys down every single time. And to start the second half, off the top of my head, obviously I don't recall the amount of plays, but we got off to a tough start in both. But we were able to obviously finish both halves, I thought, pretty well with some effort plays and some things like that.
Go ahead, Pete.
Okay, Archie, it doesn't have to be anything to do with this particular game, but the fact Bill Garrett was honored first African American to play in the Big Ten for Indiana. Can you have any thoughts on that?
Well, it's obviously it's a special time of the year, and being able to honor Black History Month with Bill Garrett, the first African American to obviously play in the Big Ten, and how much he's meant to the university in general as being the pioneer is a huge deal. Our players are very aware of that. Billy's son was here. Billy Garrett Jr. was behind our bench. We were glad to have him, and obviously to commemorate the uniforms that commemorated that opportunity to represent him, and it's just a really, really cool thing to be a part of, to have that staple.
Archie, is his shoulder okay? Is it just a bad day or something going on with him?
I'd probably like to ask the same question, but he played hard. He had 14 rebounds. He had some huge offensive rebounds when we didn't have a whole lot going. He defended really as well as he had here in the recent games, just in terms of being able to fight the post for the whole game. Had some good looks from 3. They didn't go in. They made things very difficult in and around the basket all game to get either post-ups or catches, just because of the way that they treated the post crowds or the traps. And he just didn't get his normal amount around the rim. And just one of those games. Give them credit. They did a nice job, and we were able. Our team in general during the game needed to make some perimeter shots in the way that they were playing. You just needed to make a few. If you don't make a few, obviously the game is going to kind of look like that. Once we made a couple, obviously the game changed pretty quickly. But that's what needed to happen throughout the course of this game with the way that they played. They did a really good job sagging under, keeping the bigs in the paint and post trapping. So they were going to make us make some open shots or some perimeters, and we didn't until too late.
Coach, your players were asked about the sense of urgency there is both to start games and to close them out. What type of sense of urgency, or how significant do you want that sense of urgency to be for them at this point?
Oh, without question. I mean, you're having to play high-level games in the middle of February that mean a lot, and our games do. They mean a lot. We had 2 opportunities this week to play terrific teams and came up short. And there's some things that obviously we have to get corrected at the beginning of the game to be able not to take those leads now. But we clawed back, and both halftime games at halftime felt fine. Being able to finish the game comes down to execution. It comes down to getting quality shots, being able to do that. And then you got to find a way to rebound the ball at times as well. And that was a big one. That was a big deal in tonight's game, if just the ability to rebound the ball. So many, 5 to 7, 50 long. We have our hands on it, they take it from us. We have 2 guys go up for it, it goes out of bounds. Those are just backbreakers.
Archie, Romeo came in here with so much fanfare. How do you feel like he's held up this season? What kind of season do you feel like he's had, both in terms of what he's done well and what he maybe needs to work on?
Awesome. Number one, very few people in the history of college basketball can come in with the hype, the reputation, and the amount of responsibility that he was going to be handed. And he's handled it with unbelievable team approach. He's a learner. He works hard every single day. And he's also a guy that understands that there's a lot of eyes on him, and sometimes he's allowed to make mistakes. We've had to remind him of that throughout the course of the year. You're allowed to play poorly at times. You're allowed to make mistakes. You're not going to be perfect. But I think an output of all freshmen in college basketball, I think he's 3rd in scoring behind the 2 guys at Duke. He's obviously our leading scorer, and he's gotten tremendously better defensively. But he's a freshman, man. He's a young guy, and no one's handled it better with him in terms of being able to really not show when he's frustrated or to be able to play through some mistakes. He's been able to do that, and I thought, in today's game, he was 37 minutes. Basically went 6 of 13, made 3 more threes, hit 15 points, 3 assists, 2 turnovers. You're asking a guy to do a lot, and he is doing a lot for us. And he's got a lot more ball to be played here down the home stretch.
Kind of jumping back to the late game execution thing, you guys had those games in December where you were able to come out on the winning side, Northwestern, Penn State, where you could execute down the stretch and win. Does anything feel different about the way the team either approached the situation today or just the feel of the team in general when it comes down to a close game now compared to back then in December?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, when you're able to win some games earlier in the season, close games, 1-possession games, they obviously could have went a number of ways. Some ways maybe you got fortunate, some ways maybe you did good things. Tonight, this was an instance where we needed, number one, underneath our basket, needed to get that ball clean in, and we needed to get a shot. And down the other end, give them credit. They ran a terrific play, and we weren't able to make the read off the help. But that's how it comes. It comes down to possession to possession. We've won a few like that. He's also, obviously, today's one of the instances we weren't able to finish it. But throughout the course of this game, though, the perimeter shooting from 3 needed to be there for us. And I'm not sure, as you go back and watch the film, how many good ones we got, how many rhythm ones we got. But we needed to be able to make a few tonight to alleviate that pressure and paint. And, doing it all over again, just watching how the game finishes. I wish, go back, 20, whatever. Duran, I thought, was a big added bonus for us in the game again. He continues to play good minutes for us, so to have him in the game there, and maybe in those last 2 or 3 minutes with Juwan could have potentially helped us in a couple of those situations, but we didn't have him in there.
All right, Coach, thanks.
Thank you.